join us today for this webinar on inclusion and belonging with Groves Academy. Before we get started, I would like to introduce myself and share about upcoming opportunities for families to engage with Groves. Then I'll review a few housekeeping items and introduce our presenters. My name is Linda Roslansky, and I'm the Director of Outreach here at GLOW. I have the great pleasure of working alongside our Learning Center and admissions teams. We have a robust calendar of events to engage with GLOW and explore our Academy and Learning Center this year. We have many admissions events coming up, including an open house for our Academy on February 12th, where you can see our newly renovated Academy and visit some of the classrooms. There will also be an opportunity to hear from our school leadership, teachers, and current families. Additionally, a virtual information session for our transformative summer programs will take place on February 20th. More events in our GLOW Education series are also coming up as early as next week. To register and see all of our upcoming events, please visit our website. Now, a few housekeeping items. To help us stay on schedule, your camera and microphone have been turned off. Our speakers will take some questions at the end, and I'll help monitor those. In order to submit your questions, please use the chat function. Up at the top, you'll see some little green chat bubbles, and click those to enter the questions. And again, I will moderate those to help stay on track. Now I am very pleased to turn it over to our amazing team of presenters.
Hello there. Hi, Jill. Hi, Kendall. Welcome to our webinar. I'm going to attempt to go to our first slide. I want to introduce first myself. My name is Sheila Flanery, and I'm very honored to be the Dean of Students at Groves. This is my second year at Groves, my 28th year in education. We also have Colin Roney. He is our assistant head of school. He has been at Groves for 18 years and has a wealth of knowledge and experience as a teacher and then also as an administrator. Now we have also Michelle Jonas, who has been here 15 years. We have Nicole Kirkwood. She has been here 10 years. And Amy Schaffer is new as well. She's starting with us this year, but she has about 10 years as a school-based counselor. So we have a lot of knowledge and experience and care and concern for staff and students and all stakeholders here at Groves. And we're excited to share with you how we build an inclusive and belonging environment for our students and staff and parents and stakeholders. Our mission is to build confidence and success and purpose through transformative learning experiences. And, you know, with transformational learning, we start with self-examination, and our students get a chance to really look at themselves as learners, as humans, as classmates, and citizens within our community. And with what they bring, we also do a great job of planning and their course of action and how to help them be successful and confident in themselves as learners. They also recognize that their community, they can relate to each other, and they have a space where they can become comfortable in their learning environment because they are with students of similar learning profiles. Our students, we try to build, again, an inclusive and belonging environment. And with that, you know, our students have equal access and opportunity to be successful. Part of feeling a sense of belonging is enjoying their experience. And this is for all stakeholders in our community. So ensuring that our students are having a good experience here, our staff as well, in the community and parents, ensuring that what we're providing is something that they're enjoying and it's appropriate. I'm going to send this to Colin. He's going to share with you our values as well as who our community is.
Thank you, Sheila. And this slide really, I think, demonstrates, it's a graphic of why is Groves different and what makes us different from any of the other schools that you can go to, or as far as different community schools, charter schools, private schools. Like, what's the Groves difference, and why? What are the main 8 things that we've kind of decided that make us more special and more personalized and more geared towards our students and their learning profile and who we are as a community. So the belonging piece, that's huge, right? Students, as Sheila was sharing, that affinity space for, when they come to school, Groves, a lot of times, understanding that there are other students like me that learn like me, and just having that belonging sometimes speaks volumes and is super powerful for our students to have that area. And then, again, that relationship piece is really fundamental and to that. So having a small school and having that 8 students to a classroom, really get to know the students in a very deep way, and building those relationships. We know, especially for all kids, but especially for our kids, that relationship piece really is the difference in the experience overall. Understanding of student learning profiles is essential, really having a grasp of their diagnostics and really making sure that their schedule and their classes and all the services that they're receiving is 100% in line with what you are thinking, what we're thinking, and what it says diagnostically as well. Is so that really drives our learning and the learning profile and how we set up education here. Evidence-based decision making, so continuously monitoring, especially in the lower school, testing, checking in, doing progress monitoring, so that what we're doing is working. So we don't want to find out way later. We want to find out very quickly, week by week, bi-monthly, and make any adjustments that needed. And again, collaborating with parents and so that they're on the same page and they know exactly what's going on. Classroom skill-based grouping. So again, grouping students that where they're going to be the most successful and building the scaffolding that they need in each classroom and whatever capacity that is. Differentiation. So again, the teacher being able to not water down or dumb down or whatever word you want to use the curriculum, but it's differentiating based on their accommodations or modifications that they might need. And our skilled teachers, just whatever subject that it is, whether that's if they're in 2nd grade reading or in 12th grade chemistry and physics, the teacher being able to differentiate what they might need and giving them, again, their accommodations and modifications and making sure that they are feeling successful and that they're getting, that they're meeting expectations as well and mastering concepts. Appropriately challenged. So again, making sure that it's not too easy, not too hard. We talk a lot about productive struggle here. And so we want it to be challenging, but not so challenging that they want to give up and throw in the towel. We want them to be able to learn to do things that independently and not having to come home and do hours and hours of homework, but they are appropriately challenged and being pushed, and that is that productive struggle. Executive functioning is essential in all we do in all the different divisions, lower school, middle school, upper school, and the teachers building that into every single class period, assignments, breaking things down, and teaching and rewiring our neural pathways. That there's neural pathways on how we do that. And then again, belonging. When I started with that, is so essential that students feel heard or seen here, that they feel like they're a part of it, because we know learning without that learning really doesn't happen, or learning is really challenging if you don't feel safe and that you are welcomed and that you're a part of the community and cherished. So that's essential to what we do. Again, so just going into that differentiation piece, right? Knowing the learner, accessing the learner, knowing everything that we can about that student, and then helping them to appropriately challenged and changing the mindset. I can't do it to I will do it, and I can, I'll try to do it. I can do it. And so changing that mindset over their time here, so that they can continue to believe in themselves, because they may or may not have really challenging experiences in school before. We want to make sure that they feel like they can do it, and that we're going to be right alongside them, as well as you, to get them to that area. Executive functioning, again, we talked about that, and belonging. And so those are really what makes Groves, I think, great, and the Groves difference, and really kind of seeing our students and knowing them, and having that deep relationship with them. Just a few demographic things. Our student body, just so you have a general idea. If we look at sort of total numbers, and this paints a little bit of a picture. It's not the whole picture, but it gives us some data points. We have 270 students right now. Out of those 270 students, so when students came in, we had 126 kids on IEPs. We had 35 students come in with 504 plans. We service Groves right now 34 school districts. It's been as high as 41. So we have kids that come right from St. Louis Park here, Edina, Minneapolis, but we have families that drive all the way from Hudson and St. Cloud, and past years we've done that. So again, we serve a humongous part of that, the Twin Cities community, and 34 school districts that we are helping to navigate families and transportation and all those kinds of things. And we've been doing that for a long time. Kids coming in, again, we had 179 of our students currently have an ADHD diagnosis. 204 of them have dyslexia. So many students have one or both. Anxiety, 103 of our students have some sort of anxiety challenge or anxiety diagnosis. 20 is unique to Groves, and not necessarily unique, but an interesting statistic too is 29 of our 270 students are adopted. So there's things around that too that factor into some of the areas. And then if you break it down by race and ethnicity, so we have 18 African American students, 24 identify as Hispanic, 11 as Asian, Native American 6, multiple race 17, and white and Caucasian is 209. So again, that's majority there, but we do have, for the size of school we have quite a bit of diversity that we're proud of and continuing to grow. And one of the other things too I'd like to mention too is that we're a secular school. So we're non-denominate, non-religious affiliated at all, but we do have many of religious traditions are acknowledged and cultures here, as far as Christian, Muslim, Jewish faiths, atheism, and everything in between. So again, we're non-secular, but we do take cultures and religion into consideration when we are looking at calendar and building the year around that as well, and working with families to make sure that those are respected and celebrated as well. And one of the other things I wanted to highlight too is socioeconomic diversity as well. So our tuition assistance program, so families receiving tuition assistance, fall into these. I don't know if you can see the screen if someone are listening or not, but 100. If you look at the pie chart, you can kind of see that we have a wide range of income, families with income, and so that's something that we strive to. So this year, 35%. So more than 1/3 of our families receive full tuition, or receive tuition assistance. 1.9 million total dollars awarded for scholarships, and the average tuition assistant award is $19,791 of those 35% of the families. So that is something that we, again, are proud of, strive to, and want to make possible for our families that see themselves here or would like to be here. So that's super important to us.
We're going to talk a little bit about what each of us does to support students and staff and other stakeholders in our community. And I'll start with that. I am honored to be a member of the academic leadership team I also facilitate an SEL committee. We are in the process of adopting a new SEL program. We have chosen one, and we are currently piloting some lessons to see how that goes. And then we're going to circle back actually today to talk about that. Student policy development. We have a student handbook and staff handbook that we meet about and amend as needed over the years. And then I meet with all the teachers and the students to discuss our policies. We had some students want to talk more about the dress code policy. And so we had a dress code committee and heard their voice and are sharing out the outcomes of that next week. We develop a positive school climate. And with that, it's getting to know our students and building positive rapport. We definitely do a great job of collaborating just like today with stakeholders in the community. Partnership with our parents and our staff is important to us. And then a great portion of my job is to support with conflict resolution. All good kids make mistakes, and I support with them moving forward with a plan on how to remediate those mistakes, and then also circling back and restoring the relationship if there was a conflict between students. Maybe there's a little bit of a disconnect between a staff member and a student, and having those restorative conversations as well. That's one of my favorite parts of my position.
And I'm, as the assistant head of school, I'm a member of the academic leadership team. So along with Sheila, Curtis, our director of school operations, Ellen Engstrom, our director of curriculum, Todd Hansen, our director of school tech integration, and our head of school, Dr. Brogdan, Lorianne Brogdan. So together, we are the academic leadership team and the leadership team of the school. I also, one of my charges is the supervisor of student support services and transition services. So along with Amy, who's our director of school of student coordinator, our three amazing counselors who are on this, Michelle, Amy, and Nicole, our director of transition services, so students coming in and out. So all things related to student services and student support I oversee, and then along with and tangent with Sheila and Curtis, supporting the students and all the needs that they have, or all kinds of student life. And I also evaluate teachers, working with Dr. Brogdan and Ellen, our director of curriculum, making sure that that we are meeting the needs of all the teachers and making sure that evaluation of teachers is complete and thorough, and as we work to make sure that we have the best training and PD services possible. And then again, just supporting academic and student life programs overall is part of my charge, is overseeing that.
All right. Hi, I'm, as Sheila said, I'm Nicole Kirkwood. I'm one of the counselors at Groves. We have 3 counselors. We have 2 in the lower school, in middle school, and 1 in the upper school. I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of the role of the counselors at Groves and how we support and monitor all of our students' well-being. First, being identifying students with mental health needs. Most often, we're made aware of concerns through direct student report to a counselor or another trusted adult in the school building, through direct observations, or through teacher-parent reports stating that there's some behavioral, emotional, or academic change that they're noticing. We do individual check-ins with students, and the purpose of this is to build trust, build relationships, identify and process concerns that are coming up, and if needed, problem solve and make action plans. We also try to form optional small groups for socialization opportunities. And this is typically done in our lower school and our middle school. We do this during lunchtime, quiet time in the lower school, which is about a 15-minute block after lunch and recess, and during advisory in the middle school division. And again, purpose of this is to foster socialization, allowing kids to spend time with preferred peers who might not be in a student's classroom, and to provide support for new students who are looking to build those peer connections. Every now and then we will do some classroom observations as needed. During this, we're looking at peer interactions, participation, engagement in lessons. And then we'll share our observations with the necessary parties, whether that's parents, therapists, the direct team at school. Doesn't happen very often, but we're here for crisis assessment and crisis management. An example of this is evaluating whether a student is at risk for harming themselves, determining whether emergency services are warranted, developing safety plans for the student, and then if it's needed, linking the family to direct services. Along the same lines, providing mental health referrals to families. This can be through parent request, or if a counselor or administrator feel like there's some ongoing need for therapy or a clinical assessment through a specialist, will help families locate the appropriate mental health providers in the community. And if a student is linked with a provider in the community, we're always available to consult with therapists, psychiatrists, occupational therapists, social skills instructors, collaborate, brainstorm strategies, and bring whatever language or strategies is being implemented in sessions into the child's school day. We also provide post-secondary support. This is primarily done by our upper school counselor. This consists of guidance with graduation requirements, career exploration, college planning, and some assistance with signing up for standardized testing. And then, like Colin had mentioned earlier, we are responsible for securing staff professional development opportunities. We like to look at the needs and interests in our school community and bring in specialists from the outside community to do professional development sessions with our staff, and then with our families as well. This year, we had the opportunity to bring in Erin Walsh, who presented on technology use, and Dr. Catherine Hecht, who presented on anxiety and OCD. And they both came in during our orientation week. They presented to the staff, and then a couple weeks later, they presented to our parents so that the message and the information was given to, again, staff and our parents.
So at Groves, we have social emotional support woven into all of these different learning spaces. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that we have somewhat addressed, but I just want to go into more detail. In the middle school and upper school, students have an identified advisor or advisory class. This is like having a homeroom teacher in the lower school. Advisory time is an opportunity for teachers to connect with their students individually or in groups to address any social emotional needs in the classroom, as well as any academic needs. And then, as Sheila mentioned earlier, if there is a social conflict or disciplinary action that needs to be taken, Sheila, our Dean of Students, she supports our students through a restorative practice to repair any strained relationships with peers, and that's been really powerful. And then, as you can see, coming this fall, we have 2 new programs that we are working with. The first one is being Catalyst, which is a nonverbal classroom management tool, which gives teachers strategies to help manage behaviors while prioritizing that positive connection with their students. And then lastly, we have Second Step, which is an evidence-based social emotional learning curriculum that we're hoping to use school-wide. So Second Step is a program that helps students learn skills like nurturing positive relationships, managing their emotions, meeting goals so that they can thrive in school and in life and build a stronger community. And again, we are hoping to implement this program this coming fall in grades 2 through 12.
I wanted to speak a little bit more about the student life outside of the classroom, which is very important in developing belonging in an inclusive environment. We definitely create opportunities for the students based on their interests. So there's a few listed there. I want to speak to our after school programming. We have Mr. Olison. He leads this endeavor, and so he gets information and feedback from the students themselves and what kind of groups and activities they'd like to participate in. And some of those include 3D printing, cardboard club, art, jazzy jewelry. We have a Dungeons and Dragons group, bowling, trading cards. We also have sports. We have basketball, cross country, trap, and I believe we've been the state champs for 3 years in a row for trap shooting. We have soccer, drama, theater. Other ways to bring students together include our assemblies. We hold these monthly, and we show pictures of students during that month. We celebrate birthdays, talking about upcoming events. We have Spirit Week coming up in a couple weeks, and that's fun. We have different themes per day. We have student staff basketball games and different kinds of competitions among divisions and classrooms. We have many dances in our building. I think we have one next week for the upper school, a winter dance. Opportunities for the upper school to engage in some community service opportunities. And then also to build confidence. We have upper school mentors that support lower school students. BizTown, that's coming up for our lower school. That's where they go to the BizTown facility where they can learn how to operate and manage different businesses. We have student government. And what I need, that's what WIN means. And it's an opportunity for students to have a section of their day where they can meet with staff to maybe make up a test or to get additional support to reteach a concept that was maybe a little bit tougher for them to understand and comprehend. And then our lower school also has Taste of Nations, where they research different kinds of countries and everything that is embodied within that country. And they have food and they have posters and they share their knowledge per class. And we invite the community and parents to come in and to engage in their learning. To talk about what our classroom dynamic looks like, we like to compare it to like a tiered approach. So tier 1 is basically what every student gets. They get the curriculum, they get the same processes and procedures that the teachers are implementing to foster a positive climate and culture, and to meet the needs of all students. Some students need more additional support. So that would be a tier 2 level. And that might include more small group intervention, social skills groupings, frequent check-ins with the student, targeted skills instruction, positive behavior plans, and just more regular monitoring and assessing. And then again, if that's not suitable in meeting the students' needs, we go to a tier 3 approach, and that's more specialized and individualized and more intense. We might refer the families to outside agencies for counseling or other kind of coaching. It's definitely more personalized to meet that specific need of those students. And might include a more structured environment and additional interventions. And what I kind of brag about when people ask me why I'm at Groves, and as a special ed teacher for many, many years, I finally found a place where we aren't fitting students into programs. We're fitting the program to meet the needs of the student. And also all of our educators here are choosing to support students with diverse learning profiles. And that in itself is just, it's wonderful, and it's a great fit for me. And I believe it's a great fit for students and families. And to talk a little bit further about what percentages that these tiered levels, they meet the needs of different students. The tier 1 will meet the needs of about 80% of our students. About 15% of our students will need a little bit more support. And then 5% will need that more intensive supports and structures in place. And again, we definitely partner with parents in the community to support those needs as we go along that triangle. We also have a Groves parent organization, and it's been pretty fun to see just how integrated our parents are with the community and the students. We have summer meetups. We have many different gatherings throughout the year. We have new parents events. We have parent ambassadors that will connect with new parents to make sure that they're feeling connected with our community. We have the gala that's coming up in April, where it's community, parents, teachers getting together to celebrate we have some auctions and some fun little, activities throughout that evening. That's a fun event. We have Grandparents' Day, again, Taste of Nations, different opportunities for parents to come in and support throughout the year for different parties. And then our webinars and we have State of Grows coming up, and opportunities for the community and parents to learn more about what we do here at Groves. Again, just to go back to what we do every day, again, fitting the programs to meet the needs of children, and that goes with understanding who our children are and what they come with. And so we have, everyone collaborates on each student, understanding what their profile is and what their strengths are and what deficits they have that we can try and increase and improve. And with that, we bring in our diagnostic center, our learning center, speech therapists, our curriculum director, our interventionists. Everyone comes together, our counselors, to support the teachers and that everyday teaching practices to meet their needs. Colin spoke to our executive functioning skills, and they are tailored to the classroom activities and reinforced and enhanced. The lower school, they receive executive functioning lessons once per week, whereas the upper school, they receive it once a day throughout the week. And so again, that we making sure that the students are getting what they need in many areas of their functioning. We do a lot of collaborating at Groves. We meet many of the divisions meet weekly, sometimes twice weekly. And in those division meetings, we have representation from the learning center, from the diagnostics area. We have our counselors there. I'm in attendance. And again, it's all the teachers collaborating about kids, talking about scores on diagnostic testing, scores on just the informal and formal assessments that they have in their classrooms, just sharing, what maybe some changes that are happening. And again, the whole team is collaborating. Let's see, our list, support staff, interventionists, they meet to talk about students quite frequently. We have, we're adding some additional supports this year with the SEL committee. We're also, the counselors and myself are meeting with the diagnostic team and the speech and language team to further support kids. And so making sure all the communication is going around all of us so that we're all aware of what's going on with our students that we serve. And again, ongoing professional development. And I'm just going to give you some examples as we talk about anxiety, occupational therapy, how to regulate, help students regulate. We talk about DEIB and student refusal. And again, just to kind of equip our teachers with what they need to support our students and staff. Here are some examples of what the students have shared about their experience at Groves. The new students really appreciate being able to meet their teachers ahead of time and take a tour of the building and kind of help, get to know their surroundings a little bit better. And we have new students already jumping into some of our programs, like being student ambassadors or in our ASA or choir or programming. I believe our mayor for BizTown this year is a new student, and that's a vote-in process. They have to present, they have a paper that they write, and then the students get to vote, and he's a new student. So to see that confidence showing already with a student that's here for the very first year is pretty remarkable. We have another example of a third grader who is meeting new students, making friends. They're a part of our GASS, our GAS, where they go snowboarding and skiing in the community together. Our counselors do a great job of facilitating those friendships. And so this particular student speaks about meeting in the group and engaging with some other students so that they can get to know each other better and play games. And then lastly, we have a new student, 5th grade, is more on the shy side, but yet she's connecting and playing Legos with other students, with the counselors. And then they created the Dungeons and Dragons Club. Again, confidence, transformative learning. And again, that shows that there is a sense of belonging and inclusion within our community. And with that, I'm going to open up for anyone to ask any questions that we might be able to answer or clarify.
Yes, I'm watching the chat myself, but I think sometimes when you have such a full and informative presentation, you address all the questions. But we'll give it a little bit of time. Thank you, Colin, Sheila, Michelle, Nicole, and Amy. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was extremely informative in giving us a glimpse of the inclusion and belonging efforts at Groves, and I really appreciate how much thought that is put into creating this inclusive and safe environment for the kiddos, and how much effort is really put in to meet all the needs of all of our students. It's heartwarming, and I especially liked seeing the quotes that you put up at the end with the students. I've heard many students comment that they find their people when they come to Groves.
I can speak a little bit to that. I have an area outside of my classroom, and every week I have a different kind of way to engage, like a question. This week is what makes the best pet, and so they put different kinds of pets and the reasons why. But last week I had put why Groves. Why did you choose Groves? And it was heartwarming to I belong here. I feel like I belong here. I couldn't read before, now I can. Just because. This place, gives me what I need. And so, again, hearing from the kids themselves is pretty informative and telling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we definitely invite people to come to some of our events and take a tour if they are interested and can see firsthand. Our open houses are a great opportunity to even hear from additional students and ask them questions about their experience. So we encourage people to check out our website and register for those upcoming events. We really enjoyed learning with everyone. I'm so grateful for our presenters taking the time to share this information with us today. Thank you all for attending. We hope to see you at another event. And just a reminder, this presentation will be shared with you via email in the next few days. We wish you all a wonderful rest of the day. So thank you, everyone.
Thank
See you all later. Thanks.
Thank you.